Okay, let's talk about IV&V. IV&V, independent, validation, and verification. Let me start with verification. Verification is a process of ensuring that you are doing things well. So for instance, if you have a project manager, are you actually applying PMI criteria to project management? Are you following the rules in terms of critical path analysis? Are you doing earned value analysis? Things which are critical to your success in being a project manager. Verification is very much to do with taking a look at what you're doing, comparing it with some best practices out there, and seeing how you actually rank against those best practices. So it's making sure that you are doing things in an appropriate way. That's good because it drives efficiency. Validation, on the other hand, is more about, are you doing the right things? Now I make the distinction because it's a very important distinction. You can do things very well, but if you're not doing the right things, the outcome is not what you expect it to be. And one of the ways that we always look for validation in projects is we need to understand, what are you trying to achieve? What is the business objective? Why are you spending all this time and effort doing this stuff? There is a reason for it. We hope there's a reason for it. Sometimes instead we find there isn't a reason for it and we just tell people to stop doing it. But if there is a reason for it, then it's very important from a validation standpoint to make sure that all the things you are doing are actually constructive towards that target. Now this may sound ridiculous, but I can tell you we've done over 200 assessments. I can tell you a very large proportion of these assessments, when we did the validation phase, we found out people were doing bunches of things that got absolutely nothing to do with what they were trying to achieve, and consequently missing out on a lot of things they should have been doing. So it sounds sort of silly that people would do that. They do, all the time. Because in the thick of the process, sometimes you can lose sight of all the things which are important. So validation is extremely important. Independent is the last component here. Independent, in fact, is probably the most important component. One of the things that we found about this process is that unless the client trusts you implicitly that you're going to give them an absolutely unbiased opinion about what's going on, it's not worth doing. If you can't be considered to be completely independent, not being controlled by politics within the company, not being controlled by partnerships with this ERP provider or the CRM provider, you will not make any progress with this. So the independent part of this is extremely important, and in fact it's one of the reasons why there is a business with this, is because if you dedicate yourself to doing IV&V, then clients can see that it's important to have somebody from the outside who's not biased in any shape or form. The other part which is important is that sometimes when you're in the organization itself, you can't see the forest for the trees. Literally, there's too many things going on. So the independent part of this is extremely important in terms of the overall process. Does that make some sense?